speaker with Kate. She doesn't feel comfortable being on screen right now because of her being sick.
Well, I feel bad because now I want to be on camera because I feel bad.
Okay,
I
thank
just I
you.
just want to say that I have been sick for 4 days in bed with the flu, a cough, a cold. One
Let
second to get
me.
me.
Let me. Anyway, I could.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good. I kind of wish I could enlarge it.
Oh, my glasses are all dirty.
Okay, I don't know why, but this is all that we're going for here, apparently. So, how are you doing with being sick?
I'm good. I think that I hear a lot of people are sick right now. And I hear it's because we've been all wearing masks for so long that our immune systems are really low.
Well,
So,
and the Delta variant.
yeah, okay, I don't have COVID though. I don't have the coronavirus.
Oh, okay. Well, I know, but when you imply when you said those things, I'm like, well, it's because of also the Delta variant, and people are being negligent on getting the vaccine, and that's
Yeah,
why there's a rise of COVID, and it's like, oh my gosh.
I know. Did you have COVID? Did you get COVID?
Yeah, I got COVID in November,
Oh,
and
wow.
sadly, I had to stay at my mom's house, quarantine with her for a month. My mom got COVID from my boyfriend, who he got it from someone who did not social distance.
Oh gosh. Hey Corey, I think your speakers are kind of weird. Or your mic. Like your mic got quiet. It was really loud for a little bit, but now it's quiet.
What about now?
Very good.
Yeah, my internet was a little lagging, so let me see if turning this off will help.
So how long have you been with your boyfriend? That's cool.
Wait, what boyfriend?
Did you just say you got from your boyfriend?
No, my mom's boyfriend.
Oh,
My
I thought you
mom's
said that you got it from
boyfriend
your
got it
boyfriend.
from her, and I stayed with her because she's been taking care of him.
Oh,
So she's been freaking out, and so I went to her, and I was having cabin fever, like everyone else,
yeah.
who's scared of getting COVID.
Yeah.
And then I went to, my mom's house to be there for her, and that's how I got COVID.
That sucks. So how long did you have it?
Over Christmas, or over Thanksgiving, was when I got back home.
Well, I'm glad you're okay.
After Thanksgiving, it was really scary.
Yeah. I'm lucky enough that I didn't get it, but whatever I had for the last 4 days just really wiped me out. So I can't believe I'm on camera right now. But hey, my whole thing is no shame. So there's no shame in being sick, I guess.
Yeah, no kidding. So what do you? So how's your podcast going? I mean, you're doing this on No Shame, and it's not out right now, right?
Yeah, so it's not out right now. This is a podcast that I wanted to create before the pandemic happened, right? So I was working on it right before the pandemic happened. I was working on it for like 5 months. And then, yeah, the coronavirus happened. And
And then everything just stopped, like everything else with production wise, with movies, Disney. I mean, did you hear that in the new Disney movie, Jungle Cruise, was actually filmed in 2018? That's
No,
when they
I
started
now I
filming,
heard that.
and they now had to postpone it all the way to July this year, this month, to get it out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like everything. I mean, listen, I didn't have a production team or anything. Like my podcast is just like me and like my mic that's over here, you know what I mean? But I think like a lot of people, I got very depressed from the pandemic, and it made me kind of lose my motivation. Kind of like when you reached out to me on Instagram, Corey, like you said that you felt like you didn't have a lot of social interaction over the pandemic, right? Me
Yeah,
neither.
yeah. A lot of I even lost friends. I gained some new ones, but I lost a really good friend I've had for a long time. I lost connection with him. I am very distant with my family
Yeah.
right now because they did not stay in contact with me. They I even told my parents, Mom, Dad, if anyone wants to reach out to me, give them tell them they can have my number. And I would try to call them back. They wouldn't answer. I thought, okay, maybe they don't have my number. And that's why I told my parents to say, hey, this is, tell my cousins to have their number, and they didn't want it.
Well,
My family didn't want it, and it really hurt me very much.
Yeah, but you're doing an amazing thing, You're what you're doing, and you're reaching out to people who inspire you, right? And you're just like, it's so courageous to just reach out to a random person on Instagram and invite them to have a conversation with you. Like most people do not have the courage to do that. So you are powerful. Yeah, it's true.
I mean, honestly, I'm just doing this to cope with my anxiety. I went through a lot of soul searching this year, and my mom helped me realize, Corey, this has really helped you. I've noticed that you really, a friend of mine told me, yeah, I think it really has helped you build your self-esteem. A
Yeah.
guy named Eddie, told me this. So your podcast, where will it be exactly? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah. So I started working on it again in March.
Right.
So I took like a year off. And eventually it will be on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or like that is, sorry, whatever, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, like all the main places where you can listen to podcasts. But I'll be honest, I don't have a date yet for when I'm going to release it. So I'm hoping to have it out in the next few months. But there are some things that I need to do with my website and with email and all the digital marketing stuff that I need to finish before I get it up. So it'll be in the coming months.
Yeah, hopefully. So how did you social distance with this COVID pandemic? Did you start new things? What you're interested in? Like get new interests?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I want to hear your answer too, because it sounds like you have come up with some really good ideas with like, your YouTube channel and stuff. But for me, I had a tough time. I mean, I would say that the biggest accomplishment that I had during the pandemic was that I adopted a dog. So I live alone. I don't have any roommates. I don't live with family. I don't have a boyfriend. And so I was really, really lonely during the pandemic. And so I thought, I should foster a dog and maybe that'll make me happy. And within 5 days, I didn't foster him. I adopted him, like completely kept him. Today is my 1 year anniversary of picking him up from the shelter.
Wow, I can't believe you got a dog that year.
Yeah, well, it was great because it made me go outside. I had to walk him 5 times a day,
Yeah.
It got me out of my head.
Well, well, that's really great, and honestly, I can't believe you got a dog, because I heard that there were times where they rejected some people who
Yeah.
had to reject it because they were worried this COVID would get. I mean, did you hear that a cat got COVID, or even a tiger?
Who?
There was a cat in New York who got COVID, and there was recently a tiger. A zoo tiger got COVID.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I heard that. Yeah, it's crazy. Here, where do you live?
In Ohio?
Okay, yeah. So here in LA, like I'm in Los Angeles, and everyone wanted to foster a dog because everyone's working from home. So the reason it was hard to foster here wasn't because they thought that the dogs would have COVID. It was because everyone wanted to foster a dog. So there was such a waiting list to get a dog. So it took me. I was on a waiting list for 3.5 months before they called me and said, "We have a dog for you."
Yeah, and I'm so sorry you're small. I don't know how to embiggen this. I've had this
Can you
thing
drag the
bigger.
corner of the screen? Can you drag the corner frame?
There we go. I don't know why it wasn't doing that, but now it is.
But oh, there we go. Yeah, so I think when I talk, it's going to show me, and then when I'm not talking, it's going to show you.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's okay.
So tell me about you. Do you like animals?
Yeah, I used to have a dog. His name was Ranger.
That's a cute
Sadly,
name.
Dick, he was decades ago. Like a decade ago, he died from cancer.
Oh, I'm
Was it
sorry.
cancer, I think?
Yeah, but I mean, so I'll go back to your question where you asked me how I was social distancing. Um, it was really hard. It was really hard for me with mental health. Because, I've been through a lot of mental health things in my life. And before the pandemic, I got to a point where I felt really strong and really good about myself. And I think, like a lot of people, it kind of just really set me back. And it's really interesting to see, like, there are a lot of people like you who came up with new creative projects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I created this all. I actually started this using Streamlabs just from using my. I was very passionate of getting my ventriloquism. I heard of a guy named Jeff Dunham who was very good at ventriloquism, and I loved him or admired him, and then I just started doing that, and then I started getting myself out there more, reaching out to people, podcasts, YouTube channels, um, radio interviews. Just recently, this guy named Caden Gordon reached out to me, and he has autism, and he does a whole podcast on autism and the spectrum and just talking with other people. I mean, it's incredible what this
Wow.
guy has done. And so I've been on his podcast as well, and it's called the Caden Gordon Show. And honestly, I've learned how much it's helped me build my self-esteem back up from during this COVID, because I used to go out. I used to go out to places. I used to. Oh, sorry. I used to go to concerts, whatnot, but now it's no more.
Yeah.
Um,
So why is autism important to you? Do you know someone who has autism?
no, it wasn't so much important to me. It was just that I wanted to reach out. I wanted to socialize. So
Yeah.
him asking me to be on his podcast was really amazing, and I kept being on it. And he told me, Corey, you've won most anticipated guest host. You gained me a lot of views. A
Wow.
lot of people like you, and I was like astounded because I was like, okay.
You have to send me a
Um,
link.
yeah, I should. Him and his friends are really good guys. I really and also what I did through socializing was I did video gaming. I did a lot of multiplayer video gaming even right now. I got myself into Fortnite just last year because of COVID, and I thought it was a stupid thing, but honestly, it's getting to be better actually.
Yeah. No, I think it's really cool. I think that the things that you've done, and I really mean this, are such a positive example for people of how to reach out virtually to new people and build community when you feel isolated in your home, right? Because what
Mhm.
you've done is you've used all of these avenues. Like, you can't go to a concert, but you can go on Twitch and like game with people, or you can go on Instagram and reach out to podcasters and YouTubers, and like, you're not afraid of like being turned down. You just keep doing it. And I'm not saying you were turned down. I'm just saying, like, you see the bigger picture of connection, so you keep going for it, right? And I think that that's a really good example to everyone of like not getting stuck in your head and just seeing
Mhm.
like what tools reach people.
Mhm.
So good job, like good for you. It's really awesome.
Yeah, I've really done a lot of neglection, and or I've done a lot of looking back on what I had to get through. Um, I've honestly it really has helped me through the worst thing I've had to go through. I mean, I'm even live with housemates, and it was just driving us crazy with each other being stuck in the house. Um, so I really had to find a different outlet to get out. I mean, we were in the post-apocalyptic, so I was playing video games like Borderlands. We were stuck in the social media world, all in our gaming. So I pre-ordered or bought Avengers video game because that had a villain that was about using electron. It had a villain that was about using electronics and scientific mechanicalisms to control people, and that's how I felt like we were doing with using social media a lot during the
Yeah.
pandemic, because Trump was promoting. I don't know if you're a supporter of Trump, but our government was
I'm
promoting.
not.
Okay, um, was promoting about the Chinese creating this virus. Chinese virus. He was literally using this COVID as a back burner
Hey,
to.
Corey, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I think you need to go close to your mic again.
Like
Like
this?
this?
Yeah, it's really hard to hear you without that.
Okay.
Okay.
So much better.
Okay,
sorry.
No, it's okay.
Plus I'm just not enthusiastic. That's why I had the lights off, because they were just too shiny. I had them in my room and on, and it's like, okay, that's too bright, so
Yeah,
I turned them off.
it's okay.
So yeah, I really had to think about other.
Cool. Do you think you're going to take the interviews that you're doing and turn them into a podcast?
Well, I thought this was my podcast, and you
Oh, sorry.
there's a thing called Twitch.
I don't know if you
I
know
don't know if you know
Twitch.
I
Twitch.
don't.
It's like a video gaming streaming
platform.
platform,
Right.
but there's so much more other people who do other things. I know someone from Ohio, like where I'm at, who does Twitch streaming, and YouTube, probably doing the same thing I'm using or something else. But I've just done
a lot.
a lot.
I mean,
There's a lot of people out there who have used their time carefully to get out there.
Yeah. So,
And
sorry.
oh no, what were you gonna ask?
Oh no. You keep telling me your thought.
And so I really had to find a different way to socialize through the pandemic, and getting myself booked on podcasts have really helped me.
Yeah,
Talking to
it's
people.
super smart.
I even got myself on a recent Ohio podcast called Squares Station, and his name is Davey Squares. Or Squires. Davey Squires. I think it's called Squire Station, I think.
Cool.
And so, he's a really awesome guy. He's allowed me on his podcast. Very recently, it got uploaded. I was, and thankfully he allowed it to be released sooner than expected, because it was going to be released in June. I figured at some point, when I asked him, and I was like, no, you know what? It's Mental Health Awareness Month,
Mm.
and I'm all about mental, and I was all about my mental health.
Yeah.
So, listen, you gotta release it in May. And he said, okay, when's the last day of May? And I said, June 30th. And he said, cool, I'll release it then. And so on the last day he released it, Davey Squires did. Or Squires. Damn, I can't say his last name right.
It's okay. Very cool. That's awesome. So, okay, so let me ask you a question. So you're reaching out to people who resonate with you, right? So I know you found me on a podcast about underdogs, right? So I'm wondering why the topic or subject of shame is important to you. Why does that speak to you and made you contact me?
I think because when I was little, I got bullied a lot.
Yeah, me too.
And I almost felt shamed for being a kid who underwent a lot of medical challenges. Being that child who I mean, I went under 24 surgeries.
Wow.
And so, even though I was told it being a miracle, I would say, no, that should say mistake or monster, because I was bullied a lot.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if unshame is the right term for that, but
No, it
I
is.
think, okay, good.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I have gone through shame from so many different things, right? From seriously, so many different things later on in life. But like the earliest instance or times that I remember feeling shame were from being bullied. And they happened as early as 4 years old. Like, I was 4 years old the first time I was bullied. And there was this girl, she was like my best friend, and she was super like bossy, right? So I was like more like quiet and nice, and she was like really bossy. And we used to play Beauty and the Beast. Like we used to like pretend Beauty and the Beast, and every time she made me be the Beast and she got to be Belle. And like I would try and say like, can I please play Belle? Like, can I please take a turn at playing Belle? And she would yell at me, and she would tell me that I wasn't pretty enough to be Belle, and that she was too pretty to be the Bee. I mean, it happened, every time, and I remember it just happened time after time after time. And then I went to kindergarten.
Oh, trust me, you're a gorgeous Cinderella.
Thank you. Thanks.
Or Belle, I don't know.
But so anyways, I go to kindergarten with this girl, and she like literally started a club against me. This is for 5 years old. And she started the I Hate Kate Geller Club. That was the name of the club. Okay, really stupid, unoriginal name. And they would like tease me so bad. They would like push me off the swings. If I fell off the monkey bars, like they would like point and laugh at me. I mean, it was horrible. And you just get this belief when kids are mean to you and tease you, you get this belief that you're not good enough, that something's wrong with you, that you're not supposed to be there.
Yeah, totally.
So I understand.
I felt like a Frankenstein monster, or treated like one, because he was, if you think about it, he was bullied because of how he looked.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Frankenstein personally, but you're not Frankenstein. And, it's so important.
I went through 24 surgeries, and 5 of them, or a couple of them, were experimental. So that's why I also originate myself with Frankenstein, because he was an experiment.
Yeah. I don't really know what to say about that. I mean, I think that Frankenstein has like a bad stigma in society, like people, because it's just like, but if you read the book and like, like what Mary Shelley, the author, was going for and stuff, like Frankenstein's beautiful.
Or if you ever watch, what is it, Frankenweenie? That it's on Disney Plus.
I don't know it.
It's a cute movie. It's about a boy who loses. It's actually, the main character is literally a young version of Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh, wow.
And he loses his dog, and so what does he do? He brings him back from the dead.
Oh my gosh. Wait, maybe my nephew watched this.
And it's such a cute movie, and the dog's name was literally Sparky.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, but so what's so important though? I'm sorry, I'm changing the subject a little bit. But what's so important though is the fact that like, what bullies are trying to do is they're trying to make whoever they're bullying like be quiet, right? they're trying to like silence them or bring them down, right? But what's so cool about what you're doing and what I'm doing is that we're showing kids who are bullied that they don't have to make themselves disappear, right? That they can stick up, they can create something or make something of themselves. They should listen to the bullies. So I think it's so important for people like me and you to talk about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've
I've
been bullied nowhere to turn, honestly. I've and just being bullied and looking monstrous, and then the heroes or the villains, the villains being like somewhat like your former friend who were like pretty schoolmates of mine.
That I could actually see that as like a really big cartoon on the Disney Channel where I actually think it's a really good idea. Like all of the villains look like what we think the popular people look like, and all the popular people look like the way that people like represent nerds in like big glasses and like braces and frizzy hair and all that. You know what I mean? And like that was like the cool that is like an amazing show. Like I really think Disney would buy that.
Yeah. I hope if there's any any TV people that I would love to have, it would be Disney or Hulu, because Hulu has its shares with Disney's.
Right.
So my stories would either be Disney Plus on Disney Plus or Disney XD or on Hulu, because some of them are really wacky.
Yeah. Oh,
like I wrote a story about a little girl who grew up as an orphan. She's a thrifter, and she lives in a corporation, under a corporation that is controlling through how we control through the use of technology.
that's so interesting. That's really cool. Yeah,
I hope that's too much detail.
I love these ideas. I think you should keep going.
Yeah. And I've been writing my stories. I ended all of them in a big. I ended a lot of them in a big bang, like Avengers Endgame.
I didn't see that one.
So are you a huge Marvel fan or no?
Not at all.
Okay, so so you're not a huge superhero fan? You didn't watch any of the CW shows?
No.
Okay. Damn it.
I'm sorry.
Do you watch Star Wars?
I've never seen Star Wars. I know. I've never seen
No. It's just that all those things that I just mentioned had a really big bang ending for a lot of shows, a lot of storylines, just a lot of everything. And
I'll
so
tell you what I watched. I'll tell you who my superheroes were. Do you want to know?
I'm guessing Wonder Woman.
No, Sailor Moon.
Wait, Sailor who?
Sailor Moon.
Taylor Moon?
No. How old are you?
27.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you don't know who Sailor Moon is?
Sailor Moon. I know who Moon Knight is.
I think she's from Sailor Moon. She's kind of like anime. Like she has like these like blonde pigtails, and it's like.
Oh, I don't do anime.
Okay, and then it's not anime. It was like kind of mainstream. I loved. I don't know. I guess I never really was into the whole superhero like theme of anything.
Okay.
Okay.
So what were
So
you
what were
interested
you
in?
interested in?
Like when I was a kid.
Or just
Or
anything
just
like right
anything,
now?
like right now?
Um, Man, I don't know. I mean, I don't really, it's funny. I'm not really into like fiction, right? Like I like really good fiction novels, but most of what I'm interested in isn't like made up characters. I'm like very interested in actual people. So I'm very interested in history. I'm very interested in learning about people. Um,
Did you
I
watch
Did you
actually,
watch
Clouds
Clouds
on Disney
what?
on
Plus?
Disney Plus?
Did you watch
Did you watch
Clouds on
Clouds
No.
Disney
on
Plus?
Disney Plus?
Mm-mm.
So do
So
you
do
have
you
Disney
have
Plus, right?
Disney Plus, right?
I have it on. Yeah, I have it.
You gotta
You
watch
gotta watch
Clouds.
Clouds.
It's a
Okay.
It's a
really
really
beautiful
beautiful
movie
movie
about this
about
guy
this
who's
guy
dying of
who's dying of
cancer.
cancer.
Oh no.
No,
No, no,
it
no.
it
It
seems sad,
seems
which it
sad, which
is,
it is,
but there's a
but there's a
blissful
blissful, like, like,
I
I don't
don't
know
know
if
if
joy
joy
is
is
a
a harsh
harsh
word,
word,
but
but
there's
that
such a
there's such a
light
light
Aw.
in this
in
guy.
this guy.
I love that.
Hang on.
Hang on. Plus, yeah, there's a lot of great true stories that they put on the. Yeah, it's called Clouds.
Young
Young
musician.
musician.
Damn it.
Damn it. Um, his name was.
Hey Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have, by the way, I have until 6:20, just so you know.
Sorry.
So
Sorry.
any like wrap up questions or whatever, like I just want to give you a timestamp because remember how I was telling you about my dog?
Oh, she's
Like asking you to
like
go to the
asking you to go to the
bathroom.
bathroom.
No, my mom, basically, long story short, my mom was watching my dog today and she's at the car dealership down the street and
Mm-hmm.
I need to pick him up from her. So I told her I would go there at 6:30. So I have
Got it.
about 10 minutes left.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, if you want to end it now, we can end it now. But
No, no, no. So what else? What else should we tackle?
well, how have you? So, what are your advices for people who live with, people who have body um shame? Like, you're all about shame. So, like, what advice would you give for people who maybe lived with that bullying that you had, or
Yeah,
have that
good.
problem of
No,
shame?
that's a great question. That's a really good question. And thank you for asking it. Um, I think that the number one piece of advice I have for anyone dealing with shame ever is to talk about it. So, a lot of times when we feel shame, we want to hide. We want to hide whatever's causing us shame. We want to pretend it doesn't exist. So, like, denial is a really big part of it. We want to
Right.
bury it. We don't want to face it, right? And if there's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I've learned, it's that the more that we bury our shame, the more that we don't talk about it, the more we hide, the more we like privately kind of suffer, the worse it gets. And it'll show up in ways that might be different than the original thing that caused it, right? So, like,
That might actually be interpreted for people who lived with maybe uh were stuck, locked in the house through the COVID pandemic, and they might have gone through similar things that you're talking about, maybe. because I lashed out in ways during the COVID pandemic or the lockdown in ways that were ugly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like let me tell you, I told you that I was working really hard on my podcast up until the COVID happened. And I got really depressed from the pandemic, living alone, feeling alone, blah 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 blah. And humans literally avoiding each other. Like I just felt depressed. And so I stopped working on this vision that I had for myself for a year. And I could feel shame. Like I could feel like, oh, I'm never going to pick it back up. Like I don't have what it takes. I'm not good enough. Like I can never finish anything. Like I could be saying that and just quietly quit it. But what I did was I talk about it to everyone. I'd be like, yeah, you know what? And I wouldn't do it in a way of like complaining or like imposing on other people, but I would just say, I'd be honest, I'm having a rough time. Like I really am not motivated. I'm just not, I don't want to do it. So instead of like hiding that and feeling shame about it and like quietly like wallowing in that, I'm very open about the fact that, listen, here's what I'm struggling with. And if there's one thing that I've learned through like going through a lot of shame and different things is that whenever I'm struggling with something or something's hard for me, I talk about it.
Right.
Like social media is really hard for me. I talk about it,
You know what? That's exactly why I started my YouTube channel. Was there were a lot of things buried in myself that I wanted to release, and that's what YouTube has done for me for the past 8 to 9 years.
Yeah. And it's so simple. It's such a simple change, but it's so hard to make. It's really hard to make because when you're someone who's used to hiding stuff and you're someone who's used to like pretending everything's okay or like not wanting to like impose your negativity on someone else or whatever, when you're someone who keeps things to yourself, it's really hard to be like, you know what? I'm just going to say, like, this is hard for me. I'm struggling. I feel like shit right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to make that.
Exactly. I mean, you just want to let it out and tell the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I'll give you one more example. I've been having a really big issue with the app TikTok. Okay? I really don't like the app TikTok. And it drives me nuts. Like, it drives me absolutely crazy. But instead of, like, sitting quietly and being like, oh, I hate TikTok, blah, 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 like, I feel shame that, like, I don't feel like, whatever. It's a very complicated issue that I have. But, like, I tell people, this is what I'm struggling with. This is a really big struggle for me. You know what I mean? And it takes away its power or it lessens its power when you can, like, open up to people about it and feel like you don't have something to hide. And I think a lot of violence and a lot of hate and a lot of like negative things that we see in the world happen because people keep uncomfortable feelings to themselves and it erupts as violence or as hate or as whatever.
Yeah, it's totally destructive in many ways. I've lashed out and I've broken things. I needed an outlet, and that's why I got myself a punching bag.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, so shame's just like that. If you let it sit, it like explodes into something, And so, yeah. So to answer your question, for someone who's been bullied or someone living in shame, I really just say like let it out, find safe people.
Okay. So what is your Instagram, social media, anything like that you want to tell people?
Yeah. So my Instagram is at Kate on Shame. That's the main place you can find me. But in a week or two, my website will be up. It's kategeller.com. So Kate, GELLER.com. but that will not be up for a few more weeks.
Okay. Thank you for being on my podcast. And anytime you want to reach out, anytime you want to talk to me, let me know.
You too,
If you
Corey.
ever want
Thank
to
you for
be on
inviting
my
me.
podcast, if you ever want to be on my podcast again and talk about something that is important to you, or I don't know, promote, let me know, and I'll see what I could do.
Thank you. I'm not having
Yeah,
guests on my podcast right now. It's just me. But
yeah, I get it.
so I wish I could like re-extend the offer, but it's like a one-woman show right now. but
Got it.
but I appreciate your offer for that, and I'm here to support anything you need as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you for inviting me. I'm very honored that
Yeah, you're welcome, and thanks for talking to me. I really appreciate it. This has helped my anxiety, coping with my social anxiety so much. So really, this helps me
you're
and
so
means the world
sweet.
to me.
I'm
So
like proud of you and I don't even know you. Like that, like you should be so proud of yourself. Your whole family should be proud of you. Everyone who knows you should be proud of you.
yeah, I don't know
All
what
right,
they are.
Corey. Well, thank you so much.
All right, bye.
Bye.